called as a test lodge. Actually, this is a test lodge. It is a reporting tool. What we do is used for, we are going to do for, where we can write import all your test cases from the external files, mean that Excel sheets. And we can generate the report as well as defect submission. We can do the reports as well as a defect submission or using this tool also. Now, so we have some of the test management tools like Bugzilla. Bugzilla is a bug tracking tool. Now, when you come to the test management tool, we are having test lodge, quality center, test director, test project. All these will come under test management tool. This is only the involvement of only the testers and test engineers. Now, when you come for the bug tracking tool, developers and testers can also involve in that, where the testers can detect it and the developers can resolve it. Actually. This is only the testers can detect it. We already seen that bug tracking tool, where it can be done by both the developers as well as the testers itself. Now, in the test management, I will send these documents to you. Go to that. You can download, you can get the each and every step in that. I'll show you how to work on the test logic. That first of all, we don't want these things actually. Now, here, when you go for Google search, we need to have your tool called as a test lodge. We need to type .testlodge.com. Testlodge.com. In this test lodge tool, you are going to, you can, if you have a login, you can log in it, or else you can, if you want, you can try for free. Try to free. So what we need to do, everyone, if you have a laptop, just open, you can try to register this test lodge. Okay. If all of you having a laptop, just open that and try to work on test lodge. Whatever the steps I'm going to show you, just you try to work on that, or else you just note it down what are the things I'm going to show you. So that will be very easy to practice yourself. Okay. Okay. So in this test lodge, first of all, you need to register it, or if you have a login, you can go with the login also. I'm having the login details. So I already registered with that. Just click on the login and you can try to work on Google. Also, you can also go with the Google page. So I'm going for Google page. It's okay. So your trial version will be expiring 26 days. I have 30 days. Actually, I've been opened on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. These are 4 days. So another 26 days is there, right? Now here, see, this is the window where we can create all your projects, packages, requirements, test plan, documentation, test cases, execution, defect report, everything will becomes on the part. Now, when you click on the projects on the left hand side, you can find that how kind of projects the user is being created and on what project the user is working on. That everything we can see that. So I've been created the online shopping system and as well as so can you all see the window is cleared for you? Okay, online shopping system as well as online shopping system, something like Amazon page. So if you want to create that page, you can create a new package, new project itself. On the left hand side, you can find some of these people, how many people can access it, how many people can access. So I'm the only the author of this project. I'm the only author of my account, so I can access only my name. If you want to add any other authentication, you can add them. Next, administrators. What are the rights does administrator have? The administrator can create, can edit, can delete the projects. Next, can create, merge, and assign people. I can assign any number of people. I can update the account details. I can access you rights to access to all the people. That is a role of a administrator. Now, account holder. I am the account holder. So what does the account holder can do? Account holder can do every that you can merge all the projects, you can combine all the projects and all the people, and you can manage the payment details. You can take the contract for yearly or quarterly or half-yearly, and you can get the receipt for that, and you can manage and cancel the account. You have an access to account. You can cancel the account also. You can have any access to that. Next. Now, custom role. So what is the custom? I have all my access. If I'm the current account holder, I'm the account holder. I have an access for creating a test plan, test cases, execution, defect report. Everything I can do it in this process. Next, settings. Under the settings, you can see that. So you are a account holder. Your account name is testing tools. And if you want to have your logo, you can add your logo in this part. Okay, your entire details will be stored in that. Now, issue tracker. What is issue tracker is, for example, you are working on test launch. You want to integrate whatever the things will be done in this test launch. You can integrate this to other tools like Bugzilla, Zira, other tools are there. You can add this to the other reporting tools, integrate to other tools. Next, account details. So you are a basic pay holder. You are a basic holder. If you want to go for advanced user, your advanced tool, you need to have your payment for that. So it may be yearly or there may be different kinds of payments are there. Based on that, you can go with that. And the receipts, you can get the payment receipts, everything will become under. You don't need to worry about these things. First of all, you need to create your project. Click on the project. Now on the right hand side, you can create create a project, new project. So I'm going to create, for example, I'm going to work on Notepad application. Notepad application. Click create project. See, I think you have been created the project and you don't have any contents present in the project. So you've been created the project and you don't have any content present in the project. So when you have been created your test plan, so when you have been created, when the user has been created, everything you can identify in this part. See, just when you scroll down here, you can find, see, what are the contents present in the project test plan, requirements tab, test suite, and test cases? All these things will be present in your requirement in your project itself. So the project doesn't have any contents. Just I've been created only the empty project in that. Okay, I've been created only the empty project in that. Now under that, what we can do is just on the top hand side, you can find these are all the contents present in the in your tool. What are the contents? Overview, requirement, test plans, requirements, test suite, and run test. Overview just it explains about what kind of project we have been created and does it have any content present in the project or not. In the test plan documentation, we are going to create the contents we already followed up with IEEE format. This is actually, we are not involved in the test plan documentation. Actually, it is done by the test lead documentation. So what does this test lead indication shows that is, see, your test plan, this test will shows that, see, a test plan can be used to record the overview testing strategy and is where you can outline the objective and scope of testing. That means that the test plan mainly explains about the type, scope, and risk factors. What kind of project we are going to do, what is the importance of the project, and what are the risks involved in the project. So now that is a plan of your test plan. We are not creating test plan, but anyway, I'll show you how to create the test plan also. Next, we need to create a requirement. What kind of requirements we are using out? For example, you're working on Notepad application. So do you have an editor? Editor is there. In the editor, we are going to write some text on that. Under the text, we need to save that file. We need to close the window. We need to minimize the window. We need to maximize window. These are all the requirements which comes under. We need to add them. And in the test suite, where we are going to write your test cases and where you're going to create your test cases and we are going to execute or we are going to create what kind of element, what in which application we are going to work, like window applications or web application. And we need to write all the scenario related test cases. We need to mention this. And in the run test, whatever the test case have been created, and we need to execute all them by sequentially. Actually, this is called test suite. This is called test suite. Sequential or creating number of test cases parallel is test suite. And in the run test, we are going to execute all the test cases at a time. Why? At a time, or you can run individually one by one test cases. These are the overview description. We are going to create your requirements. Based on that, we need to prepare your test plan documentation. We need to create all your test cases, and we need to execute all your test cases. And we need to see whether the test is pass or fail in the test environment. Now I'm going for overview. So we already created the test plan documentation. What is the test plan here? Notepad application. That is a notepad application. See, okay now? Now the notepad application doesn't have any contents present in that. It's an empty notepad, right? Now I'm going for requirements tab. Now see, what does this requirement shows that? See, a requirement documentation is used to store the requirement and user stores that can later be linked up with your test cases to verify them. So here in the test place doc requirements, we are going to add all your business requirements specifications. What are the things to be followed for testing the functionalities? So here is where whenever you write all your test cases, for example, I have written username, password, OK button, cancel button. Whatever the test case have been created, that test cases, I'm going to link it up with your requirements. So here is the saying that we need to link up all your test cases to your requirements tab. Now for that, creating the requirements tab, on the right hand side, you can find the new requirements documentation. Now click on that, and here I'm going to add notepad editor. That is my requirement. Now click on the new requirement. See, on which date is been created, how many requirements are there, on which date you've been updated, everything you can follow. Now we don't have any requirements in this tab, just it is an empty folder. Now I'm going to add my requirements. On the right hand side, you can find new requirements. Have you observed this? New requirements. Click on that. So I'm going to add. So opening notepad application. Opening notepad application. Opening notepad application. Description. Checking the functionality on window application. On window application. On window application. Next. So anything else to be in? So I'm added only my requirement is notepad application. Add requirements. That's it. So my added is opening notepad application is my first requirement. Now I want to add one more requirement to the same thing. So I already did my editor. Now click on the requirement. See, you can find here notepad editor. If you want to make any changes in that, on the right hand side, you can find 3 columns here. Click on there and edit. So notepad application editor. Okay, na? See, here you can find checking the functionality for notepad application. So if you want to make any changes, you can make all the changes in this part. So just if you want to click on save changes, click on the save changes. Right? So I added my first requirement, opening notepad. If you want to add one more requirement, click on that. Second requirement, typing or edit some text on the editor. So checking the functionality by typing some text on the editor. Add requirement. So how many requirements have been added? Opening notepad, editing some text on the notepad. That is my second requirement. Right. Now again, go to the click on the requirements. you can find two requirements. Okay, now just you can see notepad editor, and the second one is just click on the notepad editor. There you can find two requirements. One is opening notepad, second one is editor. Now I want to check the changes for the functionality for minimizing. So minimizing window. So here I'm going to write checking the functionality for minimizing window. Right? So save changes, add requirement. So I'd have three requirements are there. Opening window, some text on the notepad, minimizing window. Sir, I don't want to write these two requirements. I have to perform all the operations in a single test case. So that's you can do it out. Just click on the 300 and click on the delete. So automatically your test case will be deleted. So again, if you want to go for that, right? Now I don't want to execute this part. Okay. Now what you can do, just click on the three dots. So I don't want to execute this. I don't want to get this part. I want only one requirement and where I need to perform all the operations in the single window itself. This is only one requirement. Okay. In this requirement, I want to perform all the operations. Right. So I have only one requirement at the moment. Now go to the test plan. Now click new test plan. Now I'm going to enter notepad hyphen test plan documentation. Test plan documentation. Okay, na? Test plan documentation. Okay, now there are two options are there. What are the two options are there? One is see. One is a template and other one is a blank. Template is the default contents present in the test plan documentation. Based on that, you can add your all your contents, you can store it. Blank template is nothing but you need to based upon your company standards, you need to add the requirement, whatever the elements you require for creating a test plan, you can select it. But for the time being, just I'm going to select the template sample template format for writing the test plan. So for that, I'm going to just see. Now on the right hand side, you can find create a new test plan. Now add test plan. Now here you can find we already studied in the test plan documentation. So what are the things we find in the test plan documentation? One is introduction. So what is the test plan? What type of we are going to work on that? What is the risk factors? Everything we need to mention in the introduction itself. Test items. What are the things we need to work on the application? Like you want to open the application, you want to perform something, we want to minimize it, maximizing. So required whatever functionalities we need to mention that. What are the features to be tested? So I want to open the page. I want to write something on that. I want to close my window. That is my features. Features not to be tested mean that I don't want something like I don't want to maximize the window and I don't want to work on closing the window. Those things I doesn't want to work on that. That those two I will mention in your features not to be tested. Next, test criteria pass and fail. Right at the moment we haven't created any test plan, we haven't created any test cases. No execution criteria will comes under part. Okay, comes under part. Now, suspension criteria. So it doesn't require any assumptions of requirement. If you want to add any new requirement in this part, or do you have any requirements to be updated, and if you want to delete some required unknown functionalities which you required it, that will comes under suspension criteria or assumption criteria. So test deliverables mean that what environment we need to work, what are the tasks we take to be, what are the precautions to be taken for creating test cases, what precautions do we follow for writing test cases, test plan documentation, everything we need to mention in your test deliverables. In the environments, testing task doesn't require it. Environment mean in which environment we need to work, like Windows 7, Windows 8, Mac, Linux, which operating system we need to work on this. We need to mention all your system requirements mentions. Next, responsibilities. What is your roles and responsibility? You mentioned that. Do you require any staff training needs or not? Scheduling, how long it will take to complete the process. So they mention the time and date for both the developers and testers. What are the risks involved in the project? We need to mention all the risk factors. Approval. So like approval by project team lead. Okay. Approval by the team lead. So these are all the contents which are present in your test plan documentation. Okay. So first of all, I want to go for interaction. So just on the right hand side, you can find three dots here. Just click on here, edit. Right now here. So interaction. So what is interaction? Working on window application. Working on window application. See, provide an overview of the test plan in terms of what the particular project includes, items such as limitations in resources and budget, scope, testing, and how you are going to add. So just summary to keep in touch. I mean, we are going to describe what we are going to test. What is the scope of the project? What is the importance of the project? Everything we need to mention here in your introduction itself. So just I'm going to make as save changes. So automatically your first plan introduction is being created. So who is being created? The name of the author. So me. Okay. Now once I created it, now I'll go for test items. So what are the things we require to work on that? On the right hand side, you can find the three dots. Click on that. Click on the edit. Now I'm going to write test items. What are the features to require to work on that? Like editor, from text, minimize, maximize, save, close. All these are which are my items. Now just I'm going to make as save changes. So automatically your test element items will be created. Now we can go with the features to be tested. What are the features? Do you want to work on that? So here you can find, go to the edit, and what are the features do you require to work on this page? What are the features to be tested? So here you can mention your content. So I want to work on editor opening, editing, editor, text. I want to save the file, close the file. I don't want to maximize. I don't want to minimize. Those things I don't want to work on that. Now just click on the save changes. So automatically your save changes has been done in this. What are the features not to be tested? So I'm going to edit the things. Now, features not to be tested. So what is that? So what are the things not minimizing? I don't want to work. Maximizing, I don't want to work. And I don't want to close my window. So those are the things which I doesn't require to work on that. So I'm going to make the save changes. Next, suspension criteria doesn't require it. Deliverables, it doesn't require it. Next. So we'll go with the test environment. We have an environment. In which environment we want to work. I'll make that environment needs, and I'll make the changes for those things. Now I'm going to work on Windows 7, something like Windows 8, 8.1 Pro, and I'm going to work on Windows RAM so and so. Next, hard disk, and I want to mention my like version, like a drive space. Okay, memory capacity, hard disk memory capacity. Software just MB or GB. So we need to mention how much capacity of the application. So those are the things which you need to mention in your environment requirement. Save changes. So I've been created my risk factors. We don't have any risk. Scheduling will maintain with that. So these are, I think I created only few contents which are that, and I want to add. If you want to add, you can add few more contents. So for the time being, I've been created only my few contents which are required for my application. So what are the contents I've been added? I've been added my interaction, test items, features to be tested, features not to be tested, and which environment we need to work. All these things have been mentioned out. That's all. So I've been created my test plan documentation. Now I've been created my requirements. I've been created my test plan. Now go to the test suite. See here in the test suite, you can find, see, a test suite is contains a collection of test cases that can be written to verify a set of behavior. We are going to check the functionality. We are going to write some test cases and we are going to create them and we are going to execute them. So collection of test cases is nothing but a test suite. Okay. Now for that, what we can do is just on the right hand side, you can find a new test suite. Okay. Now click on that. And here you can find, see, create a test suite. I'm going to create a folder as notepad application. So you already created the notepad, na? Just select that documentation. Notepad test plan documentation. So I'm going to add my test plan to the current test cases. Add to test suite. So you've been linked your test plan documentation to your test suite. Now, there are no test cases actually. The test suite is an empty one. So I've been created an empty project, empty folder for test suite. Now I need to add all my test cases in this part. Okay. Now for that, now click on the new test case. So the first one is, first we need to add your test case. So opening notepad application. Notepad application. So checking the functionality for opening notepad application. Notepad application. So test steps, how we are going to open something like click on notepad icon through desktop and desktop. So in expected result we need to write, so by clicking on notepad icon through desktop, the application should open. That is my expected. So now what is your requirement? See, opening notepad. We have only one requirement. Na? You need to link up your requirements. You need to link up your requirements to this part. So click on that and just on the right hand side, you can see add test case. So I have added my first test case. See, first test case is added. Now I want to click on the next test case which I want to add. So what is the next test case? I want to enter something into my test case, right? So typing text on the editor of the notepad. So checking the functionality for editing, or you can use for displaying a text on the editor So okay, so in the test steps, so what we need to do, we need to write the steps. So type something like manual testing on the editor now. Okay, now in the expected results, text manual testing should be displayed on the window. What is your requirement? Same na? So we need to add your requirement. అంటే మనం requirement కి ఏదైతే నోట్ ప్యాడ్ అని రాసామో దానికి సంబంధించిన టెస్ట్ కేస్ రాస్తున్నాం అన్నమాట. We are going to write these test cases. Add test case. So ఎన్ని test cases యాడ్ చేసాం చూసారా? We have added 2 test cases for notepad application. So if you want to add one more, click on new test case. Now third one. So no minimizing window. So checking the functionality for minimizing notepad application. So click on, so we need to write underscore button and click on underscore button to minimize window. So expected ఏం చేస్తారు? by clicking on underscore button, the window should minimize. Now we need to add your requirements. Which requirement? I need to link up to your notepad application. Add test case. So these are all the 3 test cases. And last one, I want to close my window, right? So I want to check functionality for closing window. Depends upon your requirement. Closing window. So checking the functionality for closing window. That's all. So how do you close the window? We need to write the steps for this. So click on cross button on the address bar of notepad application. Now, so here we need it by clicking on cross button on the address bar of notepad, the window should close. Okay na? So we need to add your notepad application and we need to go with the add test case. That's all. See, have you seen that? How many test cases have been added? I added 4 test cases in my one requirement notepad application. Okay na? Once you add all your requirements, go to the test run where we are going to add all your where you can add all your created test cases for execution process. Now on the right hand side you can see run test run. Now so I'm going to use notepad. Now we need to add your test plan documentation. Now click, see what it is showing, the notepad problem with notepad application. I'm going to create a new name, note 1. Okay, now under that, so is there some problem with the following fields? What it is showing, and at least one test suite should be selected. So we need to select this test suite, right? Notepad page, new tools, notepad application. Okay, now I'm going to select that one and select the test suite. We need to select all your test cases, right? We haven't selected any test cases. How many test cases you want to select? Click on the test cases. I need to select all my test cases, right? Selected tests. I need to select all my test cases. Click on that. I need to select, I already selected this, or I selected all the test cases. Now select test. Now go to the test suite. Now what we need to do is just I need to close this window and I want to click add test suite. So 1 second, there is a problem with this. I'll do one thing, just I'll write something in this part showing that at least one test suite should be selected, right? So I haven't selected, right? 1 second. Test suite 1. Okay. So I need to select my notepad application. Right. So I've been added my test suite under it. So I'm going to select all my test cases. No test run selected. Test suite has been selected. So what I'm going to do, go to the test suite and I need to select all my test cases related to this part. Now click on the test cases. So the see, no test suite selected. Okay. So I've been selected, haven't selected any test suite. Now what I need to do, I need to select all my test suite cases. Now select this part, select. Now under that, so you can close this window, add test suite. Now, once I selected all my test cases, I need to execute all my test cases. Now click on the run all test. See, here you can find first test case, opening notepad application. So once if we need to check it manually, whether it has been opening or not, based on your expected. If it is opening, I need to read application successfully opened. So we need to set as a pass. We need to set as a pass. Second one, I want to enter something manual testing on the notepad editor. It is open. So manual testing text successfully appeared on the window. We need to set as pass. Similarly, third one. So I want to minimize. Window is not minimized. I'm going to write as one fail case. And the last one, window successfully close, pass, finish. I've been executed all my test cases. See, we can find here how many test cases. 3 test cases has been passed, 1 test case has been